Test, test, test. Most High in Christ. Salakia. I'm gonna get right into it. You know what I'm saying? Salakia for the delay. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Shah Baraka Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shema Thun Shem Shah to all the sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahana. Understanding it's the Tuesday night Brotherhood class, right? Tuesday night Brotherhood class out here in Durham, North Carolina. Priest and Officer of 1,000 Thabawan, holding it down. You know what I'm saying? My brother Officer Yarmat couldn't be here today, but I'm holding it down. Officer of 1,000 Iraq. I'm saying should be here shortly. All right. But in the meantime, in between time, we're gonna get into a little something until he arrives. So like it for the delay. So let's jump right into it. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Let's jump right in. Paul Salakia. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start it off. This is the book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Now, a few things stand out right here. What stands out? You can, like I said, there's a lot of things you can say, but is there any words here that stand out to anybody as or strike you as shocking? Maybe it's not, because when you see these words in this King James Bible, right, you see this kind of old Quaker English, you could say, even you could, it's almost Shakespearean in some parts, but you may get lost in it and not realize what's being said, right? But there's a word in this scripture that is interesting to me, and that word is nation, right? Why is that word interesting? Because the word nation in the Bible is another word for race, okay? Now, again, we think of race now, black, white, so on and so forth, of course, but these racial designations as they exist today are fake, okay? There's no land called black. There's no country called black. You understand? And there's also no country called white. The so-called white man, the oppressor, is European. That's generally his geographical designation. His people come from Europe. Specifically, they originate in the Caucasus Mountains. You know what I'm saying? On the borders of Georgia, Russia. That's where they originate. Okay. But if we go way, way back before that, you'll find that in the Bible, they are called the nation of Edom, the descendants of a man named Esau. Okay. But that's their nation. Okay. There's 18 nations, you understand, on the earth. Okay. But the Bible just said, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired, which shocks me, because if we now understand that nation is race, it's strange that a book that everyone says is all about love and happiness and and R&B songs and and we are the world, or we are the children. It's strange that a book that's supposed to be about that would even care about anyone's nation. And then furthermore, it's very strange, because why would that same book not only mention nations or races, but then have special or give special favor to a specific race or nation, right? In this verse, it's telling a specific nation to gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, right? So the attention is not on all nations. It can't be, because all nations, for one, are not separated. It's telling them to gather together. Are all nations divided to where they would need to gather? Are the Chinese divided? Do the Chinese have a problem with gathering themselves together? No, they gather. Chinese gather together so well, they gather together even outside of China. They gather together with each other, you understand, in LA. in Canada, in New York, in Queens, New York. You know, they gather together in Kansas City. Wherever you go, the Chinese are gathered together. And the same thing with all the other races. So now you have to ask yourself, what race of people is not gathered together? What race of people are you on, you know what I'm saying, in comments on the shade room about our women need to do this. No, the men need to do this. That's why we don't want to be with y'all men. That's why we don't want to be with y'all women. What other race of people? You ever see a bunch of Chinese people in the comment section of a you know, a Bruce Lee page, you know what I mean, bickering back and forth about why Chinese women don't want Chinese men and vice versa? No, you've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? You've never seen that because they're gathered together. All these, like I said, all these other nations are gathered together. They don't need to be told that. So this can't apply to them, right? Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. So whoever that nation is that's not desired, they're being told to gather together. And who was that? We just gave the clues. It's none other than blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. We're not gathered together. Latinos absolutely hate each other. Before you, because some fool, some idiot might try to say, well, the Latinos are, they live in neighborhoods. I mean, yeah, but so do black people. Black people definitely live in certain kind. If you don't mind, bro, you can. You want one? You sure? I mean, if you can't, if you don't mind, bro, you gotta. It's like a certain way you gotta do it. You gotta like wrap it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You gotta like wrap it in like a towel. It's like weird, bro. Yeah, you gotta like take the burgers out and wrap them in a towel, and then put them in there for 25 seconds first. Flip them, and then 20 seconds. Salakia, bro. I'm very particular about certain things because I don't want my burger to taste like it'll be like plastic. It's gonna melt onto the burger bun. You know what I'm saying? But right? The Hispanics are not together, right? They live in ghettos just like black people, called barrios. Native American Indians are not gathered together. They live on reservations because they don't have a choice. It's not because they're gathered together and love each other. Because guess what? As soon as that Native American Indian on the reservation gets $1 million, where does he go? Beverly Hills. Where does he go? The Upper West Side. Where does he go? To some fancy schmancy neighborhood in Houston, Texas. You understand? They don't stay on the reservation and they don't want to live near other Gadites. We know that biblically they be called Gadites, right? So-called Native American Indians, right? Same thing with Hispanic brothers. What's going on in Los Angeles? You got the Norteños against the Soreños. Imagine that. And the Soreños and Norteños hate each other's guts and kill each other every single day, even though they're all Mexican. All of them. What about your Latin Kings? What about your MS-13? We could do this all day. All these people are absolutely divided. And that's why the Lord had to tell so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians through Zephaniah. He had to tell them what? To gather themselves together because they're the nation that is not desired. No one wants them. While black, Hispanic, and Native Indians kill each other, everybody sits back and either laughs or applauds, whatever it is that they do, but they don't in any way desire you. Why do you think you fill up the prisons? You understand? What do we see? Like I said, we went to the Stagville plantation. We went to the Stagville plantation. Oh, by the way, I can't forget, April 1st is going down here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Make sure you're there. Lord's 54th annual Passover. Damn right, you know what I'm saying? Rakatha Yahweh Shah. Right, that's happening. But guess what? You're gonna have an opportunity when you come to the 54th annual Passover. I think that Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I believe that Thursday we're gonna be able to go to what? To tour Black Wall Street, which is in Durham, North Carolina, the Haytime neighborhood, and we're also going to be able to tour the Stagville plantation. All right, and we did the light tour the other day. We saw what, 2 spots, Mahayar? If I'm not mistaken, the full tour is 7 locations. It's 7 stops along this thing. We were pressed for time with the general, so we couldn't do everything. But it was very inexpensive, and we saw 2 things that changed my outlook on. It was $2 a person, right? We only saw 2 things. You're gonna see way more than that for the same price, right? So we went to the Stagville, right? And we going in there doing research, you know what I mean? Also getting footage for the general. And myself and a couple other brothers working on a lecture. So it was, you know, it was research for us as well. But the crazy part about this, the water, bro, the water, you put it in there, the water. The crazy part, if you could pass me the ketchup, yeah, the water. The crazy part was this. While we sitting here, you know, all these brothers, the water, all these brothers up in here at the Stagville plantation specifically, so we can do what? So we can, you know, learn about our history, man. Learn about what our ancestors been through. Do our research. Guess what we see? Guess what we see? A bunch of oppressors. And you know what they were doing? I know what you're thinking. They were probably, you know, they were probably just there to learn too. They just want to learn too. No, they were tailgating. They were barbecuing. They had pizza. And their children with them. And the dog. They had a dog with them on the plantation. They wasn't doing no research. You know what they were there to do? To reminisce. They were there to reminisce about the good times, man. One cat was dressed like a cowboy. Dressed like a cow. He was remembering the times when you know, when he used to be, his ancestors used to be up on them horses. He remembers, or better yet, not remembers, but he would like to remember when his ancestors was up on them horses and they was overseers. That's what they like to think about and remember. That's called being a nation not desired. You know what I mean? You think that's your good buddy. You think, oh yeah, this is Johnny that I work with. That's my friend. Your friend is grilling steaks next to an old slave quarters. This is what the scripture says in the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. This is not your rest, black man. It's not your rest. It can't be. This is hell. This is absolute hell to you. You understand? People barbecuing in a plantation? Like, is something fun about that? I didn't know that was allowed. But it is. You understand? That's called being a nation that's not desired, man. What about my so-called Mexican brothers down at the border? They hate your guts so much they'll put your 3-year-old in a dog kennel. You understand? That's called that's being hated, man. That's being absolutely despised in this place. You know what I mean? But we want to keep giving our love, man. We read the story. We read the story about a cat named Doc Edwards who lived on Stagville, man. This cat said, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not even going to read it directly. You know what I'm saying? Captain I thought, no, it's like Officer Zion. We read it yesterday. But he said, you know, that, you know, he at the end of it all, after the Yankees freed them, he said he feels like he still belongs to Massa Paul. Still. And he said, no, I still live on the old plantation. He was proud to be on Stagville, loved it. And at the end, he said he's gonna keep working until the good Lord calls him home. Oh, Salaki, brother. God. My bad. He said he's gonna keep working until the good Lord calls him home. Then he said, and that's why I want to get something to eat first before I do that. But if you want, you get down. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he said he going until the good Lord calls him home. Then he gonna be with Massa Paul again. I mean, damn, that is some psychological. You know what I mean? Study that. Put that in your you know what I'm saying, in your different lectures and your think tanks. Get Mayor.
No, it's like if I could, it's just so heavy, man, and you know, damn near was bringing me to tears when we was out there, just getting a slight, you know, pinch. Just, you know what I'm saying, and you know, it was cold too. So while we was in the building, I'm just thinking like, I just imagine the women, the children, the kids in here. You know what I'm saying? Who had no choice but to sleep, man. We can get back in our cars, cut the heat on.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Go home, and it's like, but they had to endure that element. But like what you were saying about the brother, it just made me think about cats today when we talk about the truth and how, because we're so destroyed, it's like all we know is just this suffering and this, you know, low life that we live. So like subconsciously we're just complacent with our reality.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why you say like he loved that plantation because he was born there.
Yup.
And that's his whole life. There is no alternative. There is no, I can go get education.
That's heavy.
Move to Beverly Hills. Like that's all our life is. And it's like that's just mind-boggling.
And here's what's crazy. And I gotta point this out that I believe it was Captain Mashak who might have said it. When they was breaking it down. If you could, Baba Kushak, pass me a water though, when you get a chance. When they was breaking it down, he and Cap read that on the general show on Saturday. And I believe it was Captain Mashak. It might have been Captain Kahan, but I think it was Captain Mashak who said, and you know, brothers today are worse than that. They're worse than Doc Edwards. You understand? Because like Mahayar just said, you got education. You so educated. You know, you got your textbooks and your, you know, your all your different, you got your internet, right? You get to, you don't gotta live on the slave quarters. You get to, you know, go to your nice home and have your heat and everything. You can think real clearly. You know what cold does to a person's mind? You understand? You know, like those elements that them brothers had to live in were really harsh. You don't live in that. But yet you love the oppressor just as much. You weren't born on the plantation. You weren't born on Stagville. You understand? You weren't. And yet somehow you love the oppressor just as much as Doc Edwards. You'll die for him. You understand? You'll go out, you love him so much, you'll go out and march and beg him to love you back. You understand? Not in the Isupk to come in and generally honor Barakatai while you was job. We ain't doing none of that. I'll be damned. You understand? But that's real. That's how it goes down. You understand? We're gonna talk about that today, man. I'm gonna talk about, you know what I mean? Water. I want to talk about you know, real leadership. Because real leadership requires brotherhood. You understand? Real leadership is, you know, a prerequisite for it. Is the kind of brotherhood that's in the scriptures, man. You Christians out there, man. I'm really to these Christian pastors, man. I'm talking to and by the way, when I say Christians, I mean everybody that's not in the Isupk. Everybody, you fake Israelite, all of y'all. Yeah, I'm talking to all of you, right? Because y'all all push the same garbage and you don't understand the Bible. You don't understand it at all. I'm talking to you, man. But I'm really talking mainly to you Christians because, you know, we still on this piece of garbage, MLK. Pause. We still dealing with him, right? We still dealing with him because everybody, you know, he just got that retarded looking statue. Oh boy, what in the world is that? That's an oh, that's the what, Mayor? That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like. You understand? That's an embarrassment. You understand? That is an absolute embarrassment to have this statue dedicated to you looking like that. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame. You understand? And so I want to talk about y'all, man. Salakia. I want to talk about the Christian path. I want to talk about what real leadership looks like. Okay, if you could just bear with me just a moment here. Just bear with me. I got to scroll back here into my notes. God, this is the one I wanted. This the one I wanted. That's one, but is that the one? Let's see. Hold on. Salakia. In the meantime, give me woe be to the pastors, Baba Kushah. Real quick, if you could. The water. Yeah, man. We're gonna get some scriptures. You understand? To get an understanding again of what righteous leadership looks like, what's necessary to lead. Everybody can't be a leader. Everybody cannot do it. You understand? There's a reason why I'm saying that. There's a reason why I'm saying that. Because, like they say, the blind leading the blind. If you are not in the right frame of mind, if you don't know who your enemy is, if you don't know how to teach the people who are being harmed how to defend themselves, then how are you a good leader? If you see a child that's about to harm themselves, and instead of doing something to prevent that, you sit back and watch, then what are you? You're either a terrible parent or a terrible person or something like that. If it's your child, you're a terrible parent. If you feed your child a million Rice Krispie treats for dinner, you're a terrible parent. If you don't give them the nutrition that they need, as best you can, so they can survive. If you don't teach them the lessons that they need to learn in this world, then you're a horrible parent. And guess what? If your job as a leader is to keep the people safe, and on your watch, the people are in a worse condition than they ever were, then you, my friend, are a terrible, terrible leader. And more importantly, you Christian pastors, you know what you are? You're liars. You're liars according to the Bible and according to the word of the Most High. And you're gonna have to pay for that. You got that, brother? Read that Bible shop.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Now hold up right there. Now wait a minute, brother. Now we're reading out of the King James Bible, correct?
Come on.
It's the irony of this scripture for me. In that Christian church, there's about 300 Bibles. 300 Bibles sitting stacked in the back of the pews, just lined up for people to come grab it. And in those same Bibles that no one barely touches, by the way,
right,
there's this scripture. This scripture talking about the very fool you are sitting there listening to.
Right.
Some greasy cat standing up in front of the congregation, sweating like a baboon. You understand? Sweating like a baboon in a ridiculous 3-piece suit, and the alligator shoes.
Right.
Feeding you nonsense. And oh man, and they talk so arrogant. Mahayo, I seen one. He said he talked so circular. I seen it on Facebook. He said a man, he said a woman can be a wife without a husband, but a man can't be a husband without a wife. Something like that. And he did. Go ahead.
I bet the congregation's like, amen, pastor.
Yep, bro. My yard, bro. They all you can hear the women in the back go, You know the women, the older black women do that. Like tell it, preacher.
All right.
That's right. Yep, all of that. And he did the little pause like a mic drop. You know how you say it and you go like he did one of those. Yeah. And they ate it up. Wow. And I'm just everybody in the comments is like, obviously the brothers in the Isupk. We just like, I can't believe this. It pissed me clean off, bro. I looked at, I'm like, this is why Christ got to come back, man. Right. Really, because they loved it and it didn't say anything.
Right.
What does that even mean? What does it mean? Does it mean anything? All it is something that sounds like heavy. Because he took the words and flipped it, and a woman can be a wife, but a man, he can't be no husband without a wife. And it appealed to them women.
It's like, if I could, it's like a theory that's like an oxymoron.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But when you say it to somebody that doesn't know anything, and they want to feel good and feel like they know something, especially them sisters, they're gonna be like, and then they're gonna start writing it down like a woman, wife, husband.
That's gonna be her new bio on Twitter.
Yup, she's gonna put it in a story, block it, and all that. Read that from the top, Bible shop.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
The pastors do what?
Destroy.
That's the first part. They destroy. Okay, they don't do a good thing. They don't do something wonderful. The pastor, they say, "Oh man, you got to come get saved." You know what I mean? The blood, you got to get, you got to get baptized so you can be saved. Isn't that what my man said? In Baby Boy, he said, "I want to get saved, Jody. I want to get baptized so Jesus let me in them gates. Right. I want him to be like, yo, turn around." Like, that's what they think. You get dunked in the water, you get saved. You know how many cats they got dunked in the water and end up the biggest gang member you've ever seen in your life with more bodies, you know what I'm saying, than cops? You know what I mean? You know how many drug dealers been dunked in the water and they saved? And they all got me. I don't know about what they call it now. When I was coming to this, they call it the Jesus piece. Not these. This is the shield. This is the Magunda would die. You know what I'm saying? This ain't some disgusting religious relic. You know what I'm saying? This is representative of my heritage, my nationality. Okay. But yeah, in the Christian church, you go in there and learn about, Jesus, and then you sell every crack rock in the city. Right. Everyone. I seen one video one time. It's very terrible, but there was I think he was a brother. I don't know his whereabouts right now, but it was during the era. This is the internet era, but it's like 2000, this 2005, six around there. And it was like this cat. He was a crack addict. But these devils was basically, how I say it, they had were almost turned him into like a fake little celebrity. They had made these DVDs of him just doing crazy stuff, right? And they just filmed it. And they went viral. I forgot his name. It was something, but he was a crack addict. But in one of the videos, he goes to the church. He puts on his Sunday best suit. He had a nice shirt, tie, everything, and got baptized in the front of the church. You know what he did? Right after he got baptized, after he jumped out that water, you know what he did? Pulled a crack pipe out of his pocket and began to smoke crack right there in the church.
Good night.
I mean, is it surprising? How many times we done heard of Mahayo? You done broke it down many times at camp. You done broke down how if you get dunked in the water, a homosexual, right, or a gay man, excuse me, YouTube, you're going to come up what? A wet gay man. Pause. If you go down into the water, a whore, you're going to come back up a wet whore. You're not going to be saved at all. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get saved? You get saved by being taught that it is a sin to smoke crack.
That's right.
By being taught it is a sin to sell crack. Right. Being taught it is a sin to be a whore. Right. That's how you get saved. You're not saved yet, but that information damn sure will save your life, because there's a lot of crack smoking, crack selling, whoring people, you know what I'm saying, somewhere dead in the alley right now. Right. It could have been any one of us. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm saved. I can say I was saved from the life that I had. But in the long run, the Bible says what? It says he that endureth to win till the end.
That's right.
So I got a long ways to go. I know some brothers that ain't make it. They came up in here and they thought it was better to go back out there. So no, you got to endure to the end, but you damn sure not getting saved in that Christian church. I'm saying, read it from the top one more time, Baba Kashah.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
They destroy and they scatter the sheep of the Lord's pasture. You know how heavy that is, man? We just read the scripture in Zephaniah 2:1 that says what? Gather yourselves together. Right. We're talking about brotherhood. But if it said, woe be unto the pastors, right, Mahayo? I'm not making it up. It didn't say just woe unto the bad men. Right. It could have said anything. Woe unto you evildoers. Woe unto you sinners. No, it said woe unto the pastors.
Right.
Who do what? They destroy and scatter the sheep of the Lord's pasture. So you know what you Christian pastors do? You scatter the sheep, man. You're the reason why black people hate each other's guts.
That's right.
You're the reason why black men hate black women. Hispanic men hate Hispanic women. Native American Indian women hate Native American Indian men. And the like. Why black men hate Hispanic men. You know what I'm saying? So that fool Charleston White, I think I seen he's had a video. And I gotta give Mahayar props. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the first person I heard basically be like, yo, he's a goofy. Yeah. You was like the first, because at first, you know what I'm saying, niggas was kind of like, oh, God, I can't understand what he's saying. Da, 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 da. Even me, I'm like, damn, I never really heard somebody say that like that. And there's still some brothers, you know, which sometimes, you know what I mean, a person in the world will say, you know, when they say a broken clock is right twice a day, you'll stumble upon something that happens to be accurate or happens to be, you know, have some sense. But for the most part, 75% of what comes out of your stupid Texan mouth is ridiculous.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you was so right when you said he was a goofy. You seen through all of it because he really is a goofy. Right. Like he's straight up a goofy. You know what I'm saying? The two things he says that make sense don't make up for all the garbage that the dude says. But he said in one interview I saw, he said he hates. I think did he say Mexican or just Hispanic? I want to say he said Mexican. He said, "Oh yeah, I don't F with Mexican men. I hate Mexican men." He's like, "I love Mexican women, but I hate Mexican men." On some just hating type stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that kind of mentality comes from Christianity. That's right. Christianity leads to that kind of thing. Christianity is why black men can't stand each other. You understand? You don't learn nothing about no brotherhood in the Christian church. None. You learn how to gossip and hate each other. You know what I mean? How the hell you gonna learn about brotherhood when the pastor's sleeping with your wife? Right. That's the place where you go to learn how to hate other black men. You understand? It's the place where you go to learn how to hate black women because they're all in there gossiping and they all discussing. Hey, Mayo.
Nah, man, what you saying is heavy, like, because all they talk about, it's funny, right? Because all they talk about is love, love, love. Mm-hmm. But you know the fruits that they labor, like what we see that's produced, it don't look like much love, man. Right. It look like a bunch of, like you said, hate. You know what I'm saying? Pastor got 23 women in the church pregnant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the world? What's going on, man? Somebody lying.
That's right. Damn right. Like, you know what I'm saying? How could it be love? How could you teach love and then sleep with another brother's woman, man? Right. Do you know how disgusting that is? How gay that is? That's what's going on in the Christian church, and everybody knows it. I'm not saying something you don't know. Right. You know what I'm saying? You seen Friday. You think you thought that they just doing that? Of all the characters they could have made do that, why they think they use the pastor? Because everybody knows that's what the pastor does. Yeah, nice. When you not home, when you working, you slaving, the pastor is talking about, yo, let's go up here and have a little prayer. Get in my yard.
Come on, man. So like, yeah, I just recently was watching Soul Food again.
Oh man.
And it's funny how there's so much violence going on. You know what I'm saying? So many, you know what I'm saying, situations and problems going on in his family. And all the pastor is good for is coming to eat dinner on Sunday.
Yep. He's being a pervert.
You know what I mean? He's provided no counsel, no aid, no guidance whatsoever.
Nothing.
But just picking up a damn fork and a spoon.
Get that brother a hand. Damn right. That's heavy, bro. I never even noticed that. Like, you mean to tell me this whole time, all this turmoil, and the pastor's right here? And he ain't fixing nothing? He can't give y'all no counsel about anything? The whole family's going in shambles. Big mama got to get her leg. She was so adamant about that leg. Right. She said she didn't want them to take her leg. They took that leg and more. You know, it didn't end well. But all the things that family went through, I mean, infidelity. I mean, of course, we know in the truth, you know what I'm saying? We a man can have more than one wife or whatever, right. You know what I'm saying? But in the course of what they believe that's wrong. But you got infidelity, you got women, right. You know, this woman cheating on this man cheating, you know what I mean, with the cousin Faith. All the women hate cousin Faith. They hate her so much. Right. You know what I mean? It's just the whole family's in shambles, man. And the pastor can't do nothing but sit down and eat a plate. Nothing. Just a waste of space. You know what I'm saying? But Barakatah Yahweh Shah, we don't got to deal with that no more because now you have the real priests and prophets of the Lord in your city. So if you are having family problems like soul food, if Big Mama doesn't want to get her leg taken away, guess what? She could have called the Isupk, and a real priest could have been like, "Yeah, you supposed to have Sunday dinner this week? No, you're not having Sunday dinner. You're not eating no chicken. You're not eating none of that. None of that. Okay. What you need to do is go to the doctor right now. Right. Change your diet right now. Fix this right now." That she could have got real counsel. You know what I'm saying, from the men who are commissioned to do that job. And even all of us, we're all priests and prophets who are officers in the school, but all of us are not given the ability to give counsel, because that's something that it's a job you got to take serious, and you are on call. That's what being a real leader is about. I'm glad you said that, bro, because that's going to segue into what I want to talk about, man. Is a heavy class that the general had did. Salak, I think. Oh, snap. Did I start here? I may not use that one. May not. I'll probably just use this. But we shall see. Any more on that?
Verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, against the pastors.
Okay, the Lord is what?
Against the pastors.
No, he's for the pastors.
Against the pastors.
He's down with the pastors.
Against the pastors.
His Bible is what?
Against the pastors.
Ooh wee. You didn't even know those two words were together in the scripture.
Good night.
You didn't know that there was a sentence in the scripture that says against, 3 words, Salakia, against the pastors. Read that again, brother Salakia.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock,
right,
and driven them away.
You have driven them away. Why have you driven them away? Why does the Bible say you've driven them away? Why does the Bible say that? Yeah, Maya, please.
It's like, if I could, I just always think about the brothers that, because of how Christianity makes no sense. Because in actuality, when you think about it, it makes no sense for a black man to want to be an atheist.
Right.
It makes no sense for a black man to not want to believe in what the world may call like a supernatural power. But because Christianity is so confusing and has so many contradictions in it, it's to the point now where a brother thinks the Bible is just a fairy tale. Man.
Right.
That book, we can't even take it serious because it's how backwards Christianity is.
Right.
Man. It's driven us completely away from our power.
Damn right, Salakia. Sorry to cut you off, bro. That's heavy what you're saying, because then it's like you almost can't blame them.
Right, exactly.
Because guess what?
Exactly.
What they're teaching in the Christian church doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Right.
And if I just show you a book, right? If I just show you a book and I say, yeah, man, this book right here, man, this book talks about a God that is God and he's also person at the same time. And there's 3 of him, but there's really 1 of him. And he's the son, but he's also the father.
Right.
And at one point, he prayed to himself and asked himself to pass this burden from himself.
Right.
You know the part where he says, "Oh, Father, why have thou forsaken me?" He was talking to himself.
Right.
It was so that we can understand it now in 2023, right? And you listen to this and you go, "You know what?" He never opens the book. Or he just goes, "Then David, the king, stood up." See, David stood up. David stood up. Like we stand up in the church, close the book. So then you, at the end of it, you go, yeah, he's an idiot. That book is retarded. And all these people are crazy. I'm out.
Exactly.
But they never really went into the book. So what you're saying is so heavy, Mahayar, because now that brother that goes to be, because guess what? Being an atheist, if this is what God is, according to what you just said, then I might as well just not believe in that. I don't want to be under somebody that talks to themselves and says, "Why have thou forsaken me?" I don't know why are you talking to. I don't want to believe in that God. That God is schizophrenic. That's a heavy point. Were you gonna say something else?
Nah, man. And specifically, it's crazy. We talking about it because I was just dealing with a brother. You know what I'm saying? I've been on a game and whatnot. He telling me, I just believe, that we all just exist and, the earth is life and this and the third. And then he mentioned, his upbringing, which of course his family was like Catholic. And I was like, okay, see, I understand why.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
You know what I mean? Because your whole life, nothing has made sense to you. And because you're a man, you're trying to find a way to find some, like, rationalize with your reality, make something make sense to you. Like, you know what? Life is just life.
Right.
And this is this. Because, like, you don't want to be insane. So you like, I gotta find some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Like some type of recipe, or not recipe, but some type of way to, like, answer for why my life is the way it is, or make something make sense. So you're like, yeah, life is just life. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because of just how you were
and
raised.
It's no different. A lot of, bro, that's an excellent point too, because it's like the general taught us, it's no different than like a trauma response. Like how many sisters either, they get molested when they're real young, and they either become, they might become real promiscuous, or sometimes they'll go into that lesbian lifestyle, because now in their psyche, they look at their womanness as the cause of what took place. Right. So now they want to go opposite of that, because as long as I don't look like a woman anymore, I don't got to worry about no man trying to put his grubby, dirty hands on me ever again. And women, and not just that, there's so many different ways that trauma manifests itself. But it's the same thing with that Christian church. You get in that Christian church, and either you might, either you'll become an atheist, or next thing you know, you'll be talking about you a Buddhist. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. A Buddhist? A black Buddhist? What? You understand? Why? Because you got molested in that Christian church. Right. Because you got lied to in that Christian church. You know what I mean? Because you got some nasty person who's supposed to be the most right. They told you that's a man of God. That's the man of God. Well, the man of God has a problem with controlling his erections. Pause. But that's real. Right. Because that man of God would sit that little girl on his lap. That man of God would touch them little boys. And that's another way, going back to the scripture, how they scatter the sheep. Okay. What about them boys that nasty Eddie Long? You know what I'm saying? That nasty Eddie Long who got disintegrated by the Most High into nothingness. Right. You understand? That fool, what? Them boys came into that church because they didn't have fathers, because they was from broken homes, like many young black males are. And what did he do? He presented himself like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take care of these young men. I'm gonna take them on the men's retreat. I'm gonna take them, show them places they never been. Young black boys need to experience things. They don't get to go to places like Fiji. They don't get to experience. I'm gonna take these young men and show them those kind of things. And what did you do when you was on them trips? You went and you played with them little boys in ways you shouldn't have. And you touched them little boys and molested them little boys and raped those little boys, those young men. That's what you did. Now you think they want to go back to a damn church? That'll be the last place they'll probably ever want to go. That could be their response. Or their response might be to what? To become super Christian and just continue the cycle. They'll become super duper Christian, and they'll go back, and guess what? And they'll still be, they'll take them tendencies with them because you molested and raped them. And now they calling themselves gay men, and they in the Christian church doing what? They leading the choir, they leading the praise team and all of that. Just continuing the cycle. Why? Because you're a disgusting piece of garbage, and that's what the Bible said. You scattered the sheep of the Lord's pasture. You did it. You understand? You did it because of your lust, man. And guess what? It probably was done to you too. It probably was done to you, and that demon got on you, and you kept it going when you had an opportunity to end it. You know what I'm saying? That's a terrible, terrible thing. Any more on verse 2? Or read verse 2 from the top, Salak, before we go to the next one.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my flock. Right. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them.
And haven't visited them. You scattered them and driven them away, and you haven't in any way tried to go see what's good with them. You haven't in any way tried to help them. Like Mahayar said, you just good to what? Go get a plate. Right. That's all you good for. You're not good for the community, man. We didn't listen. Like I said, we've been doing all this research down here in Durham, man. Shout out to Officer Rock, you know what I'm saying, for putting a lot of this together, man, putting the bug in our ear, you know what I mean, about some of these historical sites and some of this top-notch information about Black Wall Street and such. It's been really, for me, it's just been like helpful and like, it's a learning process, learning process, a learning experience, excuse me. But one thing that is heavy that I noticed in my research for this lecture we'll be doing, and just for all the stuff we got going on, the different tours, was that Black Wall Street in the Hayti community, which we're right now we're in blocks away from it, better yet, like the church was heavily involved back then in a lot of things. A lot of times the church building would be used for different things. The church building would be used for not just church, but also if they had other different functions, different meetings and things like that in the neighborhood, they might happen at a church. But one thing I noticed was that, long story short, while Black Wall Street was literally being bulldozed between the 40s and the early 70s, while Black Wall Street was being bulldozed to the ground, all the Christian churches, you know what they did? They grew. The Christian churches actually grew. They had to move from different buildings because their congregations got so large, and they started making so much money. And now you'll see the original building, right? And then guess what? You go a mile or half a mile away and see their new building. And their new building is a gigantic facility. It's like a campus. You know what I'm saying? And so the Black Wall Street going down seemed to make the Christian churches go up. You understand? And that's the dream of Martin Luther King. That's the dream he had. Now we integrated, but our businesses and our livelihood is, kaput. Now we have to rely on the oppressor for absolutely every single thing we need. You understand? Imagine a time when you can go to a Black high school and it not be the worst school in the damn city. But it's a Black school, like a high school, and it's only for Black people, and it's a great school. It's It's a top-notch, top-tier school, outperforming the oppressor schools. But now we don't have that. We've been scattered because of the Christian pastors. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to talk about and if you could, Mahayar, when you get a chance, just check this computer just to see if we got any questions on lunch locker. Also, you can type in your questions too if you have any questions. I'm gonna roll into my topic, but if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat. You know what I'm saying? Brother's checking it right now. Bear with us. We got something? Okay, what's on Christ? Sorry, you crazy, bro. Facts. Weird stuff in the Christian church. Weird stuff. You know what I mean? Right. So let's get into it. So what I want to talk about, man, is now we didn't talk about the Christian pastors. Now I'm gonna tell you what makes them so horribly bad at their jobs. And this is something General Hyman said that will forever stick with me. The reason why the Christian pastor is such a terrible, ridiculously inadequate and inefficient leader is, I'll take the words out of their mouths. What do they say, Mahayar? They say that God is what?
It's just like I said, they say God is all love.
Ooh. Right on time.
Oh, man.
You already got yourself? You good? No, please, bro. I was telling you to go ahead and I'm saying get down first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, you go ahead and pull yourself up, and if you could just see me. Yeah. See me. See me. I'll tell you. You know what I mean? Because we might that's too hot for now. We probably go to what you doing tonight? We go to our Ross with some music. Okay, yeah, for sure. The water, bro. The water. But yeah, so as Mahayar just said so eloquently, the Christian pastors it's all God is all love. God is love. All you need is love, and the love all the time, right? It's just a big embrace in the hands across America. We are the world, and we're the children. But let me tell you something. You cannot love anybody or anything unless you also have the ability to hate. Understand what I'm saying? That's when General Hyman, I'm paraphrasing to a degree, but when he broke this down, I was like, yo, that's something. You cannot be a brother. You can't have brotherhood, which is what this class is about. You cannot have brotherhood without disruption. You have to be willing to disrupt things. You have to be willing to hate some things. You have to be willing to fight some things. You have to be willing to make somebody uncomfortable. If it's all about love and kisses, and everybody, what another one they say Mahayar is live and let live. They say things like that. To each his own. To each his own is why pedophiles exist. Child molesters. To each his own is why drug dealers roam the neighborhood and get all the love and the act. Could you imagine that? I can't imagine it. I haven't experienced it, but I've heard my brothers talk about it enough to where it's like, damn, they never talk about it from that angle. A drug dealer will be the most beloved person in the neighborhood. Everyone knows he sells all the drugs, but he's rich. And every now and then, when Thanksgiving rolls around, he gives out free turkeys. And he gives, the little kids come up and he gives them a little couple dollars. But there's always that one person that looks at him and says, "Man, I wish I was more of a gangster too. Why? So I could kill him. Why? Because he sold the drugs that killed my uncle. He sold the drugs that killed my grandmother. He sold the drugs that destroyed my family. My family's destroyed because my mother's a drug addict and my father couldn't deal with it. So my father left. You understand? Now I got this mother, but she couldn't do much because she was strung out on drugs. And now I'm living this life that all could have been avoided if it wasn't for you. But instead of seeing, imagine the psychological effect if instead of seeing the whole neighborhood shun that person and say, we don't want you, man. We don't, you selling drugs around here. You know what I mean? We don't want that in our neighborhood. We don't want you destroying our families and destroying our community. Everybody talks about how much of the man he is. Everybody loves him so much. Imagine the psychological effect of that. Well, if you want to be a real hero to black people, then you got to be in the place where that drug dealer is going to feel what? Read my mind. There has to be a place where that drug dealer is going to feel what? Yeah, my yard.
He's going to feel like he hated in that place.
I'll take it. That's it. I would say uncomfortable, but that's perfect. It's the same thing, right? There has to be a place where that drug dealer is not going to feel comfortable, where he's not going to feel loved. You understand? And there's very few places where a black drug dealer doesn't feel loved.
Right.
There's very few places where a murderer doesn't feel loved. There's very few places where a sister who whores herself out, you understand? And you know what I'm saying? Even though she has children and embarrasses herself and embarrasses her children. There's very few places where a woman like that, it's like, so you ready to take it, sir? Okay. And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer of 1,000. I rock.
All right, let's clap it up. Hey, we got a Wi-Fi. Can you put the Wi-Fi in for me? Should be already programmed. All right, everybody. Let's give another round of applause to Commander Junior Hanna and the Isupk. Commander Junior Hanna just left Raleigh-Durham area, coming down to survey for the Passover, the 54th annual Passover. The water, appreciate that. Oh, probably. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Give me 1 second. Photo. The water, appreciate that. All right. But anyway, but back to what I was saying. Commander Junior Hanna came to North Carolina, the Raleigh-Durham area, and basically was just taking a preliminary look at what we were presenting in regards to activities with the Lord's 54th annual Passover. And I must say, Barakataya Hawaii Hawashah for the ISUBK and Commander Junior Hanna coming down. It was a success. We got to do 3 interviews in one day. We got to go on a Black Wall Street tour that looked at the remnants of an era in the city of Durham in which how many years out of slavery? No, just Black Wall Street, just period. Okay. Yeah. So less than 20 years out of slavery, we were able to have banks, hospitals, cab services, bed and breakfast, all kinds of businesses. And sometimes, with Black Wall Street, we look at the most prominent businesses, but, there were also a lot of little, I guess I wouldn't say mom and pop, but let's say B-rated or just smaller businesses that trickled down, shoe shine men, people was able to, even the on the left-hand side, we had like the numbers game and things like that took its way up to Harlem with Bumpy Johnson. And even in the left-hand side, the drugs and the hustling and all that whole mentality of just trying to get money and be self-sufficient was there. But as we know, as Tabawan knows, and the men in the ISUPK know, that the Black Wall Street had to fall because it was not, the foundation was not of the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? It was merely an echo of Esau's society. Wow. You know what I mean? So without brotherhood, which today's class is the brotherhood class, without brotherhood, you're going to have countless accounts of our demise as a people, as a nation of Israel. You understand? Everything in modern society and prior to or after the death of Christ, everything is based on selfishness and the lack of brotherhood. If you could, when you get back, let me get 1 John 4:20, Baba Kasha. The water, yeah, I take that too. Appreciate it. 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. Hey, when you get it, when we get it. Basically what we want to look at is in the Isupk under Commander Junior Hana. Low battery. Under Commander Junior Hana, you know, our bread and butter, our foundation has always been based on brotherhood. You understand? And then the contrary to brotherhood, you have selfishness. So when you ever hear us say, when I was in the world, right? Being in the world is fundamentally selfish.
That's
right. You know what I mean? It's about our lusts and what we want. It's about wants. It's starting with what Eve in the garden. You know, she wanted power. She wanted her eyes to be open versus just obeying the Most High. You know what I mean? Having something greater than any of these wants could fulfill. You know what I mean? You got that?
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
He is a what?
A liar.
Now, if you in the world, right, you know, everyone swears up and down they have love for each other. You know what I mean? Everyone swears up and down that all of these false doctrines, you know, Christianity, Nation of Islam, Buddhism, atheism, and they feel like, you know, this is the proper way, you know, of living. But to the contrary, everything that we see as a result of these false doctrines and these ideologies is what? Over 2 million of our people incarcerated. We have over 300,000 abortions a year. What we have is gang violence in the community. What we have is just the highest ranking in all kinds of diseases and sickness and illnesses. You know what I mean? All of this in the name of this is the tree that beareth a fruit. You know what I mean? Based in selfishness, right? But in the Isupk, we say what? Read that again from the top.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
So how do we show that we have love? A word that's very common. I think what's coming up was that wicked holiday coming up, Valentine's Day or something like that. It's supposed to be based on the foundation of love, right? But yet nothing we do. Like the only way we show love for the Most High is how we show love for each other, right?
That's right.
Let me get, if you could, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. Let me just show you that the Lord, like, there's no personal relationship with God, as people say. I say that for the sake of you understanding Most High. We saying what you say, God. There's no personal relationship. Basically, he's laid out his people, he's chosen his nation of people, and how you interact and how we as a nation of people interact with one another. That's how we show our love for him, not by, you know, having fond feelings of a higher power and saying, oh, I'm a good person, or, you know, I do the right thing. That's not enough. You know, being an individual, like, you know, being a person who, you know, stays to yourself and away from the so-called nation of Israel or your people. You understand? That's easy because nobody has bumped you. You know what I mean? Nobody has rubbed you the wrong way. Nobody owes you money. You know what I mean? No one has said something or murmured about you and now you have to rectify it. That's not necessarily love. You know what I mean? Love is suffering. You know what I mean? Long suffering for your brother or your sister. You know what I mean? How we interact as a nation and using the applicable laws and the example of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach to resolve them. That's what the kingdom of heaven is supposed to be, and that's how we're going to get it.
That's right.
Read, please, Baba Kasha.
So 1 Corinthians 11 and
Yeah, let me get 1 Corinthians 11:3.
this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
So the head of the man, I mean, the head of every man is Christ, right?
That's right.
Right? But yet the end game is that we want to serve and obey the Most High. But how do we get to the Most High? Read on.
God. And the head of the woman is the man.
The head of the woman is the man. I heard a sister say, you know, oh, I have a personal relationship. I know my Jesus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I praise every day. Hagaloga. You know what I mean? Like she feels like she doesn't have to listen to the priests and prophets of the Lord.
Right.
You understand? But she has a husband, right? And how she treats her husband and how she obeys her husband, that is what she would do for the Lord. That's directly, not even indirectly, that's directly her relationship with the Most High.
Right.
You understand? Read that again from the top, Baba Kasha.
Sir, the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Most High Christ. And so these are the nuances that you will learn in the Bible about how the system is set up. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see me right now, you also are hearing the words of Captain I Thought.
That's right.
You also hearing the words of Commander Junior Hani. You also hearing the words of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You also hearing the words of the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? It's no individualism. These aren't my words. These are not my thoughts. You know what I mean? My representation or my image is that which of the men above me, right? And so being in the ISUPK and being an officer in the school, you learn how to obey. You know what I mean? It's not a demoralizing thing. It keeps us out of trouble. You understand? It allows us to grow and to be groomed and chiseled into a proper servant of the Lord, a proper husband, a proper brother, a proper father. You understand what I'm saying? But in this world, in Esau's kingdom, what they do is they give us free will to do what we want. You understand? This is the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah, right, where when you just do what you want, eventually somebody's going to want to poke their finger in a little baby's butt. Eventually someone's going to want to sleep with you against your will. Right. Eventually someone's going to want to eat a pig. Right. Someone's going to want to smoke. Someone's going to want to murder. You understand? When does it end? That's right. You know what I mean? It's a system of multiplicities of, let's just do whatever we want. Eventually, instead of having, how many genders do we have now? According to the 40. Yeah. It's not going to end. You understand? You up here thinking you safe because R. Kelly's locked out. Look at Tyler Perry in his movies. He's probably caused more harm than R. Kelly could ever do. Right. You know what I mean? These movies and these agendas that they're pushing. You got to think about what we're doing here. Let me drop that if you could, Baba Kasha. Let me get Matthew 25 and 40, Baba Kasha. At the same time, Brotherhood is pretty much the antithesis to this selfishness that we see in America, that we see in Spain and in France and in Russia and all over this planet. You know what I mean? It's the prevalent mindset that we have in the modern times is selfishness. It's about self-preservation. It's about, I got to get mine. I got to go get my degree so I can get my money for my house to feed my children alone. Well, let me tell you this. Why you think we're called the 12 tribes of Israel? What is a tribe? When you think of a tribe, you think of a bunch of individualites. Right. You know what I mean? When you think of a tribe, like if you think of the Native American tribes, they moved together, right? They ate together. They hunted together. You understand what I'm saying? They so worship, even though falsely, but the Most High together. You understand? But in this system, everything has been dissected and estranged from what the Most High had put forth. Read that, Baba Kasha, if you could. Come on.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
Again, this is what some people say the golden rule, how we treat that man. Like who was saying something about, I think it was General Muhammad was speaking about angels, maybe in the form of homeless people. You never know who you dealing with. But those charitable acts or those deeds that we do towards one another, and we talk about neighbors and we talk about friends, we talk about the nation of Israel. When we do those things also come unto us. You understand what I'm saying? Like not karma per se, but this is a portion of God's chosen. This is the Lord's chosen people. You understand? This is God's chosen people, and how we treat God's chosen people is subsequently how we're treating him if he were in the flesh. You know what I mean? Baba, drop that if you could. Let me get John 13, chapter 13, verse 34. Baba Kasha.
Come on. Oh, come on. This is the book of John, chapter 13 and verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you.
That we what?
That ye love one another.
How do we love? How do we love one another? You know what I mean? Is it love according to the Bible is what? Keeping the commandments, correct? Right. And so when we keep the commandments, we're not going to trespass against our brother willfully. You know what I mean? We're not going to, sleep with another man's wife. We're not going to sell your child drugs or do drugs ourselves. You know what I mean? We're not going to put you in a position to harm yourself because of brotherhood. I want to do unto you as what I would want. I would want for your children what I would want for my own. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, this is about to go dead. Let me plug this up and let it sit right here. Salakia. Battery is dead.
Probably can do sideways, right?
Nah, I can't go sideways. For whatever reason, the plug is at the bottom.
Oh damn!
I'll just give it a few minutes. I'll let it keep recording, and then I'll post it back. If we could go to Luke chapter 6, verse 31.
Okay, sir. Mario asked.
Yeah, I just responded to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I just responded to him. And Salakia, shout out to Mahayar picking up my son from practice. Another act of brotherhood. You know what I mean? He said the gate is locked. Tell him just wait. Just tell him to wait. Yeah, shout out to Mahayar. Also want to give a shout out to Officer Yermak, Officer Sadak, Trooper Hawan. They took a trip out to Philadelphia. Damn right. Did some work out there, blaze out there in the camp. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just getting more seasoned in this truth and doing work and sharing some of that Carolina love up north, up in Philly. And shout out to General Muhammad and Captain Arya for welcoming them, the water for that. Anyway, back to that. Where we at?
That's like the next one you went was Luke. What was it, sir?
Yeah, it was Luke. Let me get Luke chapter 6, verse 31.
Book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
Again, we wouldn't have Crips, we wouldn't have Bloods, we wouldn't have gangster disciples, we wouldn't have any manner of gang violence towards one another if we follow this. Read that again from the top.
Come on. This is the book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
Okay, so again, the Most High is consistently, what was that, Luke, you said? Yeah, I was basically saying that what we do to one another, this is something that, these are things that we would want done unto ourselves. So if Tabawan was sitting up here, you know what I mean? I would say, okay, are you thirsty? Would you like something to drink? When we turn the heat down, when we turn the air up, whatever. Basic common courtesy. This is something that was drilled into us, in the ISUPK coming in. And if we practice these things, then we would not have abortions because that's our life. We could have been aborted.
Right.
Sometimes we look at, I'm poor, I'm impoverished, or, I want to go to school, or I want to play a sport, or I want to do this. I can't have this baby, but the Lord is that which giveth life, right? And so the Lord gives you this opportunity to bring forth this child. This child could have been Commander Junior Hunter, could have been Yahushua, could have been Moses, could have been anything, and Yahushua was born poor. You know what I mean? So who's to say that is a death? We look at all the children that's born wealthy, in wealth. Some of them turn out to be monsters and animals. That's, really it takes a lot of selfishness and cruelty to even consider killing, one of the Lord's chosen, one of his children. And so with selfishness, we do these things. With selfishness, we say, you know what? You messed up the pact.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm going to take your life because you violated or you disrespected me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to take your life. You know what I mean? You committed this crime against mine, so I'm going to take your life. You know what I mean? Without proper authority from a priest and prophet or the Most High's, those in authority to exact judgment. We're not in that day right now. We're in the age of grace right now. So we don't consider the times that we have violated. You know what I mean? We don't consider the times that we have actually trespassed against another brother. Should we even be here to be trespassed upon? You know what I mean? So where is the mercy? Where's the proper understanding in that situation? No,
Right.
We wouldn't do those things. We wouldn't walk around wearing dresses and lipstick as men and dresses, perverting the mindset of third graders and fourth graders, going into a classroom telling them that this is an alternative lifestyle. If we had brotherhood or sister, we would know. If we were honest, we would say, you know what? I'm suicidal as a homosexual, as a transgender.
Right.
It took me years to actually come out so-called of the closet as a transgender. So why would I want to now, in my pride, my perverse pride, want to go and walk around the grocery store or public places and let people see my pride in something that nearly killed me? You know what I mean? Nearly caused me to actually deep down hate myself.
Right.
And then you want to spread it. You have they so-called take the Bible out of the school, and then they allow this wicked mindset of being a homosexual or changing your gender. You can change your gender, but you can't change your grade.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why can't I say, hey, you know what? I'm an A student. I consider myself an A student, even though I got D's and F's.
Right. That's right.
Hey, you know what? We're going to go to Congress. We got to go to court. We got to change the rules because I deem myself as an A student. You know what I mean? But now you could say, how you doing, sir? I'm not a sir. I'm a ma'am. What? You have a beard, dude. You got an Adam's apple and your hands are bigger than mine. You wear size 15s. But you're telling me that I have to now, what type of oppression is that? That you feel uncomfortable with me calling you what you are, but you don't care about me feeling uncomfortable about calling you what you're not.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a double standard there. You know what I mean? And this all stems from selfishness, because deep down, you're going to have feelings. You're going to have stimuli. You're going to have temptation, appetite, desire. Those things are innate within your lower self. You're going to have those things, right? The moment someone says, allow you to do what you feel, just don't inhibit or stop someone else from doing what they feel, that's when you open the gate for these demons. That's when you open the gate for all lustful thoughts. Oh, necrophilia. Oh, you know what? I work in this hospital and I see all these dead women, but man, she look good. Let me try this. You know what I mean? I'm sleeping with a dead carcass. You understand? Because you could do what you feel. Let you keep pushing the envelope. You see the married couples, it's like first everything is good, and eventually, hey, I need you Let's role play. Okay, cool. You know, whatever happens in the bedroom's under foul. But then at some point, you got to push the envelope. Right. Now I want you to look like my dad. Huh? What you mean? I want you to bark like a dog. Okay. Now I want you to get a sword and poke me. Pow, pow, pow. Like, so regular just making love ain't enough. Right. At some point, you're going to keep pushing it until now you choking a woman. Like, I almost want to feel death. Like I'm about to die. You know what I mean? For me to even feel, some people have pushed themselves so far they don't even feel anything anymore. Desensitized. You know what I mean? You have to stick bottles and cans and twisted and all kinds of just grotesque. Yeah, I know it's a little ill, but it's real. That's right. You know what I mean? Like homosexuality, pedophilia, necrophilia, incest. All of this is coming from the same gate. The moment we don't have brotherhood, the moment we don't have sisterhood, these are the things that happen. You don't want to agree, but it's the truth. Because if you had brotherhood, you wouldn't have left Christ. If you had brotherhood, there wouldn't be an IUIC. If you had brotherhood, there wouldn't be no fake Israelite group. If you had brotherhood, there wouldn't be no at-home Israelites. There wouldn't be no individualites. There wouldn't be no Christians or no Catholics. None of that if you had brotherhood. If you had brotherhood, this classroom will be filled, packed. Everybody will be tuning in. Why? Because you don't see no one in the ISUPK breaking into grocery stores and stealing. Right. You don't see nobody in the ISUPK breaking into banks, robbing people. You don't see nobody in the ISUPK molesting children and taking wives from other. You don't see no one in the ISUPK violating the law. Right? So the moment you see a Freddie Gray, the moment there's a Philando Castile, the moment that there's any catastrophe or any uprising, the ISUPK not a part of that. We're part of the solution. So if you have brotherhood, right? If you have brotherhood, you would be with us because we're out here trying to save you. You know what I mean? We're coming to you. You tune in to us because we're trying to save you. We're trying to give you these scriptures, this breath of life. You know what I mean? The water to Commander Junior Hana for keeping this truth, to upholding it. You know what I mean? We had men that claim one thing, you know, they so-called One West, right? But the moment there was a split and they see the leadership going in opposite directions, they were already taught from the beginning. We're all taught the same thing. You know, we stay here. Every last person in this school can leave today. There could be a split right now. But those of us who have brotherhood know we can't go anywhere else. We can't start another group. You know what I mean? That's, again, because if we acknowledge that this is where the truth started, this is the home of the truth, no matter of the politics, no matter the connections and relationships, you don't leave the body. You understand? What you do is if you love them so much, you persuade them to stay. That's what you do. You don't follow them. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you love them so much. Those are your brothers so much, right? You bring them back to the truth. Unless you was a false, you wasn't really sincere yourself. Then it was damn right for it to split because you guys were not really in the truth. Right. You know what I mean? Commander Junior Hana upheld the truth. You knew what he was doing. You should have cleaved to him, and you should have kept the high holy days just like you were taught. You should have brought new members into the school as you were taught. You know what I mean? Fish for men, fish for the sisters, and grow this thing. But guess what? It happened without you. So all your fake Israelite groups, all your individualites eating lamb at home during the so-called your version of the Passover, worshiping the new moon, you know what I mean? Wearing fringes on your t-shirts, all that comes because of selfishness. Because you want to be the king or the elder or the bishop of your own group. You know what I mean? That's the point. That's the point. That's the beef. That's the issue. It don't change. You can't quantify any other information. You know, you left. And only death can allow a real member who's One West to leave this truth. Only the Most High can take the breath of life out of a brother that's really One West in the school. You know what I mean, Baba Kasha? If I could, let me get Matthew chapter 18, verse 21.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
What Peter say? He's talking about, you know what I mean, you got repeat offenders, right? You got people that trespass. You know, most of us really, you know, put it this way, some of us can't stand black people. Some black people can't stand, some Mexicans can't stand Mexicans. A lot of Puerto Ricans can't stand Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? When we're amongst each other, you know, sometimes you just feel like, you know, damn, like, why you gotta play the music so loud? Why you gotta park on top of the grass in the front yard? Or why you gotta have all these pit bulls walking around and attacking my children? Like, why are you so ignorant? You know, in the hood, sometimes it can be like that. And unfortunately, you know, that's a plight of the oppression that we have, you know, learned from during slavery, that we have a lot of these so-called ghetto ways of interacting. That's not really us, though. You know, learning from the Isupk, we were dignified. You know, we were respectful as a people. This whole hood mentality that we've adopted, this comes from slavery. This comes from our oppressor. You know, we just got flavor, though. You know, we just do things a little different. They had what? Bugsy Calhoun or whatever. We have Marlo Stansfield. You know what I mean? We have our own version. We have a little flavor of how we do what we do. But anyway, go ahead. What do you say about forgiveness?
Go on. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Verse 22. Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
He said, no, I ain't say forgive Tyrone 7 times and that's it. And we go ahead and, you know, yank him up. But 7 times 70, which go ahead.
Salaki, sir, if I could, it's heavy because in Peter's mind, you know, he thought 7 was a lot. So he's like, how am I supposed to forgive him 7 times? Like he's saying a large number. Pause. Right. And Yahushua is like, nah, not even. Like 70 times 7. In other words, always forgive him forever.
Damn right. Get that on the hand. Most High in Christ. Yeah, pretty much. You know how Yahushua spoke means forever. We always gonna forgive, as if we not worthy of death, as if we're not sinners, as if we haven't done things that we need forgiveness for. You know what I mean? So that's why we have this mercy for one another. You know what I mean? Because Yahushua says we forgive forever. You know, and the reason why we have this mindset, if you could let me get Jeremiah 23 verse 1, is the Christian church.
That's right.
You know what I mean? The Christian church, a lot of you don't understand, you know, why we have this aggression. You know, some of you have great relationships with your so-called pastor, right? But, you know, because of your pastor, this is why we have this fruit, which is America, which is Europe, modern day Europe, which is Russia, which is this whole infrastructure of the Antichrist, you know, Christianity as a whole. If you could read, please.
Oh, come on. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Woe. You remember Black Rob? You know what I mean? Yeah, woe, meaning death. Read on.
Come on. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
The pastors, right? These are the ones who are put in positions or in positions that are supposed to be bringing the people closer to Christ, right? Under the authority and jurisdiction of Christ. But what do? Read that part again.
Come on. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep
that destroy. Nah, you good. That destroy. Now, how we destroy? Because we think God loves everybody. You know what I mean? We think that Cesar Borgia, the second son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome, is Yahushua HaMashiach. You know what I mean? We think that that when you see a Edomite, a filthy Edomite, on their knees, trying to gain some type of mercy in the kingdom, and they're actually licking up the dust of thy feet. You think that's a horrible thing because of this pastor, which even in your world, that's not even brotherhood, because you don't even understand that he's trying to gain some type of mercy and you don't even want him to get that. You know what I mean? Even in your sense, that's not even brotherhood. Read on.
Come on. And scatter the sheep of my pasture.
How we scattered? How we scattered? You got what? Pentecostal. You got Jehovah's Witness. Right? You have the Catholics. You have the Baptists. You have the AME. What is that? The Methodists. Right? We are scattered. How is it that none of you are saying, hey, forget everybody else, we got the truth? None of you guys are saying that. You guys are all intermingled, and in cahoots with one another, keeping us divided. Like Isupk said, a lot of those pimps from the 60s became pastors. It's just another hustle. You tell people what they want to hear. They now have prosperity preaching, which is pretty much a motivational speaker that pulls a few scriptures here and there and just tells you, we're supposed to have wealth, if you pray for it. They take the Bible, they take the King James Bible, and then they dissect it, pull out, extract little, I guess, proverbs and things like that, put it in a book and make millions off of the Bible. But are we supposed to actually take away or add to this book? That was a question. No. Are we supposed to take or add away? Huh? And basically, like when you go to the what is it? When people get married and they say, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today. Shout out Martin Luther King. We're gathered here today in holy matrimony. We're here to join this little black boy with this little black girl. Now, you do know that is not in the Bible. Everybody know that, right? Y'all do know that's not he's not reading from the Bible. Mm-hmm. They take this Bible and they extract and they are perverting. And I know sisters right now, they got every book about the Bible, about love, relationships according to the Bible, or education according to the Bible, how to raise your children according to the Bible. Why do you have to, and then when you open it, it's everything. Oh, this is from the NIV. This is from the New International. This is from the Gay Bible. This is from this Bible. This is from the Lesbian Rights Bible. This is from this Bible. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Are we supposed to take from this book? Right? Why not just go to the priests and prophets who are authorized to teach this book, and which is the ISUPK under Command of General Hunter? Why not do that? Right. You know why? Because it's difficult. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to get told to shut your damn mouth. You know what I mean? You're going to get told the truth according to this Bible. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why if you're not in tune spiritually, you won't see that you're going for the okie doke. You won't see what's really hurting our people, which is, again, selfishness. When your focus is only about your own, yourself. We're supposed to be selfish about our nation. We're supposed to be selfish about the Most High. Yeah. We're supposed to be proud as a nation of people, but yet we got people up in Sioux Falls. We got in Rapid City. We got Gadite children that are being oppressed, that are being kidnapped, and no one's saying a word. You know what I mean? We got Edomites that thrive out in the Native American. They live close enough that they can actually prosper. They selling these children. They take them for their own wishful lusts. And murdering them, raping them, or selling them off for prostitution. And these are our children. These are our people. These Gadite women and children. And yet no one does a thing. No one cares because it's not happening to Esau. Let it happen to Esau at an alarming rate. You know what I mean? And you will see the National Guard. You will see the CIA, the FBI. But black girls in Detroit and Chicago coming up missing. You know what I mean? At an alarming rate, but no one cares. You know what I mean? And it's because of the Christian church. Read that scripture again. Because of the pastor, Willie Pigfoot, because of Jumping Jack Flash, hairdo, handkerchief, whatever. All of these people, all of these pastors that are supposed to be responsible for us adhering to the tenets of the Most High and coming together as a nation of the nation of Israel, they're spreading us apart. Read that again, sir.
Come on. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors, like you, that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High.
The Most High again say death and destruction to you pastors. God damn you pastors.
That's right.
You understand? You the reason why we have such an uphill battle, because the truth is plain as a glass of clear water, and our own people dying of thirst, still parched, turn it away. And you think this ain't brotherhood? You think we couldn't be chilling at home? You think we couldn't go out here and make money for ourselves? We out here for you, yet taking every insult. You know, we the Power Rangers. Yeah, you right about that. We the Power Rangers because the power is Yahweh. You know what I mean? The Most High. That's we are the Rangers for him. But at the same time, you try to insult us. You try to insult our women for being so stupid because we understand that being sex is marriage. You understand? Versus sex is just nothing. See, only in the world, sex is nothing. Oh, I sleep with her. She's just a woman I slept with. You know, this sister sleeps with this man. This is brother I slept with. No, we actually give it something that is glorious. This is a marriage. But because, you know, selfishness, because of the Christian church, because of the pastor and his perpetual lies, you know what I mean? That's why we have the abortion rate so high at 300,000. That's why we have the diseases that we have, because, you know, quiet is kept. You know, people question, you know, if a man does have more than one wife. Really, look at what's happening in the world. There's no statistics that outshadow what people in the world are doing. In marriages, in your paper marriages. All these men that so-called paperly married, you know what I mean, got men on the side, chicks on the side. You know what I mean? And because of this fear of being up front, this fear of saying, yeah, this is my wife, not my mistress. You know what I mean? She doesn't have a place. The mistress is free game for other men too. So he's bringing diseases home to his so-called paper wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because of that, we have this thing of lies, deceit, deception. You know what I mean? And it all stems from selfishness, which stems from, more importantly, fear or lack of courage or being a coward. You understand? In the ISUPK, we don't allow coward. If I could, let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, Baba Shah. We almost done with the time. I see. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 18. Shout out to everybody on Facebook checking in. It's Offside Rock with the Brotherhood class. Let's go.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world.
TD Jakes.
Right.
All of you shamans and sage burners and you Egyptologists and Nation of Islam, Brother Ray Muhammad and Brother Clinton X and Farrakhan and all of you Umar Johnsons and all of these people who have so much knowledge. Read on.
If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world.
In what?
In this world.
In what?
In this world.
In this world. Not the kingdom of heaven, but in this world right here. You wise here.
Right.
Right? You might know your taxes. You know what I mean? You might know a little something about yoga. You might know something about being a vegan. All of that. You know what I mean? You might have all kind of inner working knowledge of Catholicism and archaeology. Kumo D. Read on.
Let him become a fool.
A what?
A fool.
A fool. Read on.
that he may be wise.
That he may be wise. So the only thing you're really going to learn in this world, the only wisdom you're really going to get is that you're a fool.
That's right. That's right.
That's really it. The wisdom of this world is foolish unto the Most High. You understand? And because of that, the ISUPK, the men of the ISUPK, the priests and prophets out here, we have a glorious work to do. You know what I mean? You may not get it now. You may not respect us now. But when Yahweh Shah returns and he cracks that sky and them 200 million angels and them saucers, you know what I mean? Which is in the book of Revelation, right? When that time come, you will know. You will see. You know what I mean? You will see that them crazy people that was on them corners, that was in them classes, coming on your phone, on YouTube or TikTok, you know what I mean? You will see that we were right the whole time. This Bible was right the whole time. The ISUPK was right the whole time. And your Christian pastor is the root cause of it. And selfishness is the vehicle in which it travels and permeates through our nation, throughout this so-called planet Earth. You understand? And you shall bow down as these Edomites do in camp. Ye shall bow down, begging for mercy for the Most High. That you was wrong, that you made a mistake. Like what a lady say when on Friday when she was with that midget and the midget came home. No, she was with what's the cat's name who passed away? Yeah, well, she was with Bernie Mac and Friday. He went in the house like, oh, have mercy. And he went up in the house with the lady Miss Parker, right? And then when the little midget came home, he said, the lady said, we was just praying. We was just praying. He was, yeah, you copping, please. You know what I mean? Listen, all of you Crips, Bloods, Whack 100, all you people who even know Sonetta, all of you who've had a chance to hear this word, you know what I mean? Your time is coming up. Your time is short. We out here trying to save your life. We do this because we love you. You understand? All you baby moms, all you sisters out here who think that we a joke. We ain't a joke. We don't do this because we don't have jobs or we don't have skills or we got mental illnesses and we derelicts of society. We could be anything. We got some of the greatest minds up in this truth. And you need to respect this word. I say this to you. Instead of being a naysayer, what I want you to do is like what we did. Do the research. Prove us wrong. Go get your crippled pastor to come up in here, or we'll come or invite us to your church. And we'll have a sit down and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Because this is not the game to play. This is for your soul, your salvation. You know what I mean? This is for our nation of people. I'm tired of seeing my people in the conditions that we're in. I'm tired of watching my people ignore the words that we're saying. You know what I mean? You're not hurting enough, obviously. Or, you know what? It's because you're selfish enough to not care about what's going on around you. That's right. You know what I mean? And with that, I'm going to pass the class to Officer Thabawan.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. When a new rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever you have to give. Upcoming holy convocation will be the Feast of Purim, right? Which is going to be I believe the 5th and the 6th of March. Okay, but I'm not sure exactly in the North Carolina area. Do we figure out what school we're doing it at, or are we still not sure on that? Okay, so yeah, each school is going to do their own classes for the Feast of Purim. So Fayetteville, Charlotte, Durham, you know what I'm saying? Because it, of course, is not Holy Convocation. You know what I'm saying? It's a memorial, correct, Mayor? Khan, the water, brother. So be on the lookout for more stuff on that. If you want to bring food items or whatever, get with Officer Mahayar. I want to remind Akim and Akwathi to check on social media. So that's isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that,
hey, we also, is this mic on? Check 1 2. Hey, we also have a sister in the school that's been coming to the classes for well over her time, but she's been diligent and showing sisterhood. That's the counterpart of brotherhood, right? We got a sister that's been coming in from by way of DC. She lives in Durham, but she's a native of DC. She's traveled abroad and was, I guess, being influenced by one of them fake Israelite groups or whatever, but she was looking for the truth, and she came to the city, and thanks to, I think, YouTube and social media, she found a school. She came in, she was very inquisitive, had a lot of questions, and had no problem adhering to the rules of the school, brought her sons in, attended the high holy days, very Tawab spirit, very inquisitive, always willing to learn, always willing to listen. And we're about to give her name. Step up, sis. Get the camera. Take that coat off if you don't mind. Like Teddy Pendergrass. Take it off. Use this one. Yeah. And for the record, oh shoot. You're a mock. What do you want? Shalom Christ. What's good? Oh, live. We in class right now. We're about to give a name. Let me call you back. I thought it was an order of something. All right. So Salakia, are you sure you want to come in? You coming into this truth? That's a question to you. There you go. Khan what? Khan what? Khan Adawan Khan. Say that. Most High Christ. Take your hands out your pocket. All right. So what we gonna do is we gonna speak up here. Let me give a name first. Yeah, let's do that. Let me give you a name. It's what you've been waiting for, right? All right. The name is Zabawada, which means given. Clap that up. Zabawada. 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 Yeah, correct. All right. All right, just up here, okay? And when I point to you, say your name 3 times. Zabawada. You know what I mean? As if you want the Lord to hear this, okay? Don't be as a mouse, all right? Let's get it. All right. Yabaraki Yahweh. Wa Shamaraka. Ya Yahweh. Panyawa. Al Yaka. Wa Yakanka. Yasai Yahweh, Panyawa, Al Yaka, Wayasamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Hagun. Zabawada, 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 Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the water Amun. In the English, that means Yahweh, bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh, make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh, lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, protect. Zabawada. Hold up. The oil. Oh. You got that. You got it. Step up. Come. Clap it up. Who's the power? Who's the power? Who do we fear? Who do we fear? Who's your king? Who's your king? What's your name? Israel. What? Israel. What? Israel. What? Israel. Y'all give me time. Dismiss.